Changing the gear lube, the transmission fluid on the 2025 KTM 300 HardEnduro. I'm Officer Oil. When I'm not fighting crime, I'm fighting friction. So this is the very first change. The bike is brand new. I broke it in, followed the owner's manual's recommendation, and it said to go out and run it for 1 hour, and I still can't run it above 70% for the first, I believe, 3 hours. So I went out. It has 1.1 hours on it, and the 0.1 was me just out running it around, spinning circles, working the clutch in, and getting it up to operating temp so that we could get in here and change the transmission fluid. So let me show you here. All right, 1.1 hours. I put it away at 1 hour, and then again, I just went out and rode it around for a bit here to get everything all warmed up and the juices flowing so we can get it all out of there. All right, so to see what your bike takes or your vehicle takes, very simple. Just go to my website, officeroil.com, and we've added the lookup guide for you. So in this case, we're going to be looking up a motorcycle. So click on that. Now this is the 2025. The website's not quite updated yet, but it's almost. Well, let's continue that or cancel that. Here we go. So, but the bike is practically identical and you're safe to use the 2024. Here we go. Focus. All right, then we come down here to KTM. And 300 XCW HardEnduro right there. All right, so here it tells you what two-stroke oil, Dominator, Interceptor, that's what I run, that's my favorite. What coolant? The new Power Sports coolant, and then you come down here to transmission fluid. So the capacity is 0.85 quarts, and right out of the owner's manual recommends the AMSOIL. It's a 1550 motorcycle oil. That's that meets the JASO spec, the JASO MA2. That's what they recommend, but I'm actually going to be using the dirt bike 1050. All right, so again, the bike is warm. I want to get in here before it cools down too much, but I always like to take off the fill port, crack that, just to get better airflow and better drainage. So good. So that's just sitting there. That's loose. Screw it in just a little bit so I don't lose it. All right. And then down here on the left side of the bike, the gear shift side there is the drain bolt. It is right here, and it's a 13 mil socket. All right, let's get this thing drained out here. I got my drain pan ready. Get an extension. My dog says hi. Blibe. Fools. There we go. Crack that. Fools. It's okay. Okay. There we go. Not too bad at all. Again, 1 hour. There we go. So we'll let that drain out. There we go. All right, so while that's draining out, we'll take a look at the magnetic drain plug here. You can see, just get that to focus. But what do you think? Again, 1 hour on there. Lost my light. So here's the magnetic drain plug. Haven't wiped it off yet. Just breaking in there, getting those clutch plates. There you go. So we'll let that drip for a bit. So one thing I like to do is just lean it over, let gravity be my friend. So we'll lean it over here. See if I can get more of the oil out. Dripping out from the skid plate here. So, still dripping here a little bit, but I'll let that get all that old gear lube out of there. But again, not pretty darn clean. Again, 1 hour. While we're waiting, I'll take some AMSOIL brake and parts cleaner and just clean up this magnetic drain plug. There we go. Wipe that down real well. We'll get a new crush washer. So there, nice and clean, nice and shiny. So the book again says to use the 15W50 and a JASO MA or JASO MA2. However, I don't have any of that currently here, and I'm trying to go ride, so I'm going to be using the AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike 10W50. It is built from the ground up specifically for the demands of dirt bikes, of both four-stroke as well as the engine as well as the transmission. So I'll show you the back here. So the biggest thing with this is just how well it protects the engine, the transmission, the gears, and really gives you that confidence, that confident clutch feel. So really get in there and work it. Slip that clutch in those muddy, wet conditions, riding up the hills. But right there, 10W50, that's what I had. That's what we're going to be using. And once I run out of that and change this next time, I'm probably going to switch to the AMSOIL dirt bike transmission fluid. This is what I ran in my 2020 KTM 300 XCW. Absolutely loved it. Had almost 180 hours on it. Original clutch. It just felt completely great. Did some oil analysis on both of these fluids, and this one actually outperformed. So this is probably what I'm going to end up switching to, but I'm just trying to use up this old dirt bike 1050. And comment below if you've used this, if you've had what experience you've had with this versus, so both of these here, so the dirt bike transmission fluid or the 10W50. But looks like we're just about done. All right, let's put this back on. Put the drain plug back on here. Torque wrench, it is 20 Newton meters. There we go, 20 Newton meters. All nice and snug. And then we'll just clean up our work area here with some brake and parts cleaner. And I'll just straighten the bike up here a little bit. Get all that old fluid out of there. Let that dry. And drip. Give everything a quick wipe. Spun the bike around here for you, and if I'm doing my math right, full quart 32 ounces, if I need 0.85 quarts, so that's going to leave me with just shy of 5 ounces left in this, like 4.8 I think to be exact. So go ahead and pour it all in, get that liquid gold in there. Give it a shake. Do you shake? To shake or not to shake? I like to shake. Here we go. And gosh, that feels good. Every time I dump it in anything, the bike says thank you. Get this down to okay, keep going. Eight ounces left. It's about 6. Maybe 6, a little bit more. All right. I think that's right about 5. I'm happy with it. While we're waiting, I'll just lube up this gasket here on the fill plug from what was in the cap when I gave it a good shake. Get that lubed up, make a nice seal there, the fresh rubber. There we go. So again, this is a 10W, not a 15W like the book says. But they're both 50 weights, which is its viscosity at operating temperature. Now the 10 will flow faster cold than the 15, so I get better startup protection and better protection in the winter. So I am not sweating this at all. One other thing, this is the JASO MA spec, all right, the JASO MA spec, where in the owner's manual it says the JASO MA2 spec. But MA, if you get really technical with it, MA versus MA2, MA does a lot better, is much better, in my opinion, in the woods versus an MA2 where you get better shifting and better clutch feel out on the track because you want those harder shifts quick and fast, where out on a dirt bike, you're going to be more in that constant clutch feel, so you're going to be slipping the clutch a lot, and that's kind of the difference between an MA versus an MA2. So I am not sweating this at all. I am completely confident in this. Comment below, and I'm curious what you run in yours, and if you'd be willing to try this, or where'd I put it? Or if you'd be willing to try the dirt bike transmission fluid in yours. Now there is an oil level check right here. It even says oil level right there, just above the brake lever. Now, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm confident, did the math. I have 0.85 quarts in there, so I'm not going to worry about taking that off, risk stripping it out, have to use another crush washer. But this is a great tool, great little resource there to help get you to make sure you have the right amount of fluid in there. Okay.
What are you doing up here? What's that?
Hold on, let me hit pause. All right, so got our high-speed oil drain, oil fill port, oil plug right here. Make sure that's nice and snug. It's all lubed up, fresh oil. There we go. Good to go. So what I'll do now is, since there is no owner's manual for this, it's all online, and I haven't printed it off yet because I think it's almost 200 pages. But I go on to the AMSOIL My Garage. So with AMSOIL, you get access to a place called the My Garage where you can save all your maintenance records for your bikes, your cars, your trucks, your boats, any of your equipment in one easy spot, so that you can know exactly what you did, when you did it, and you can even send yourself email reminders. But got it all in here, excited to get out and rip it and have fun and continue with the break-in process. So if you're like me, you're a do-it-yourselfer. Now, I'm a police officer. AMSOIL is what I do to support my family outside of police work. So my referral number, you'll see that up there in the top. But if you click on my links or visit my website, officeroil.com, to go through to get AMSOIL for your bike or your trucks, your vehicles, your boat, whatever you may have, by clicking on my link or using my referral number, it really helps me out and helps support the family. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer like me, wrenching in the garage, we've got a great program called the AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, where you'll save up to 25% off, and they'll quickly drop ship it right to your doorstep. You get full access to the AMSOIL store. Or if you have maybe a fleet or repair shop or a retail store, we have even more advantageous accounts with some bigger discounts and some other great programs. If you have that, if you're a business owner or a shop manager or something like that, click on those links below and we can get your shop or your fleet set up there with even better pricing. But thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'm anxious to continue to grow the page here, and we want to hear from you and what I can do better and help answer those questions you may have out there about AMSOIL, about this bike, about these bikes, and I am happy to help. So we'll see you next time, and thanks again. Prost!